Hello everyone, my name is Dr. Duncan Street and I'm a neurology registrar and PhD student based at the University of Cambridge under the supervision of Professor James Rowe. Today, I will be presenting work performed as part of my PhD looking at pre-diagnostic progressive supranuclear palsy, or PSP for short, using the UK Biobank dataset. PSP is a rare, devastating neurodegenerative disease characterized by a series of cognitive, behavioral, and motor problems. Many of the motor features are shared by Parkinson's disease. Early detection and accurate diagnosis are vital to ensure targeted and appropriate management, particularly so in PSP, where diagnosis is typically delayed by an average of 3 years after symptom onset, and mean survival after diagnosis is only 3 to 4 years. Understanding the changes that occur during the pre-diagnostic period will aid earlier diagnosis, clarify the natural history, and aid the design of disease-modifying therapy trials. We set out to identify motor and cognitive markers of pre-diagnostic PSP, using Parkinson's disease as a comparator condition. PSP and Parkinson's disease cases were identified through patient self-reported baseline assessment, primary and secondary care diagnostic coding data, and death registry, and were matched with randomly selected age and gender similar controls. The date of a first coding diagnosis was used as a proxy for the date of diagnosis, and when a coding diagnosis was recorded through multiple sources, the earliest date was used. Those with a known diagnosis at study baseline were excluded. 176 PSP cases and 2,526 Parkinson's disease cases were identified, with a mean time from baseline assessment to diagnosis of over 7.5 years in both conditions. At baseline, those later diagnosed with PSP had slower reaction times, weaker hand grip, lower fluid intelligence, prospective memory, self-rated health scores, and digit recall than controls. Slower reaction times correlated with shorter time to diagnosis. The PSP group had higher mortality than both Parkinson's disease and control groups. These findings have been published as a preprint and are available on the links at the bottom of the slide. People who will later develop PSP differ from age and sex-matched controls as early as an average of 7 years before diagnosis, with poorer task performance associated with a shorter time to diagnosis. We suggest that these features are present approximately 4 years before symptom onset. These results will help to inform early diagnosis and stratification of PSP for future disease-modifying therapy trials. Thank you for listening.